Sniper, gunner, medic, AT. When you imagine a battlefield, roles probably jump into your mind. Someone with aggression, death-defying moments of heroics, offense. Being that guy. It's flashy and attractive at face value, but the role of the shield must be filled for the sword to find its mark. The idea of support play. And it goes beyond the boundaries of a loadout setup or dropping boxes of ammo into something much deeper and more fundamental to game design itself. Having others' backs. It can feel just as heroic, if not more, than being at the tip of the spear. But truly being support, it's about a lot more than the class that you play. Battlefield moments. For years now, this series has brought players this feeling of unscripted cinema that somehow never gets old. But when I think about my favorite moments in this series, they often go something more like this. Really just watch what's actually happening here. This is a breakthrough match. We're the last two alive in the squad. We need to take this point by majority to advance the front line in our favor. I'm doing my best here to just hold, to stay alive as long as I can. Okay, so what did I actually do there? Nothing, right? I just kind of stood still and then died. Wrong. This was in fact a play. A play that went on to be pivotal for this whole game. In the Battlefield franchise, support has almost always meant the machine gun class ammo guy, sometimes the repairman. And with Battlefield 6, the meaning of support, the class that is, changed once again. And with it, in my opinion, did the whole meaning of the word. But in order to understand why support play is so important, why its definition could be changing, we need to look at where it came from. You know, I'm always drawn to these games where playing your role as part of a team is required for success, and that's true for many games of many genres. But what about when all of those genres sort of get smashed together? Rules of Engagement, the Gray State, is an example of exactly that, and they are the sponsor of today's video, and this actually looks incredibly interesting to me. A mix of action RPG, extraction, team-based tactical shooter, and even maybe a little bit of battle royale going on here. Every player in Rules of Engagement starts with a base kit based on one of three archetypes, Pyro, Sledge, or Phantom, and infills into this horrifying anomalous dimension called the Gray State in hopes of retrieving a Vertex, an alien artifact, and in Phase 1 of a match, you'll be moving forward and building up your character by looting and defeating monsters. But in Phase 2, you'll have a choice. Extract quickly for a guaranteed profit, or risk all of your progress for a fight over the Vertex and one of these limited spots on the final exfil chopper. Phantom is your stealth guy, able to spec into stuff like a cloaked backstab. Pyro has skills to be, well, a pyro. And Sledge is your overall frontline heavy, with anything from a breaching shotgun to recoilless rifle. But again, these aren't set kits or found in raid gear. As you rank up and buildcraft your operators through their skill tree, this is the RPG element here, eventually two, say, Sledge players could have completely different abilities and playstyles, so think of them more as archetypes rather than set heroes. This game is really doing what I personally am very interested in right now, taking influence and inspiration from many different beloved game types and kind of smashing them all together into something quite new that's never existed before. So if you're interested, follow the link in my description or pinned comment to wishlist the game on Steam right now. And also go ahead and join their Discord server if you want to win a beta key or playtest access. Thank you again to Rules of Engagement, the Gray State, for supporting the channel today. It was the choice to combine the classic support gunner / ammo box guy with the medic of Battlefield's past that really got me thinking about the meaning of support in the first place. But in fact, this wasn't the first time they'd done this. Battlefield Bad Company, exclusive to consoles in 2008, its support class was an LMG-lugging, medkit-tossing chap similar to Battlefield 6's. This one sported a power drill to repair vehicles as well. And throughout the years, every game with a focus on teamwork and class makeup has struggled to define the place the support class, or classes as it were, should fall under. Defibrillators, a repair tool, a rocket launcher, they're all powerful in the right hands. Too powerful if you tip the balance one way just a bit too much. Some think these kits should be specialized with a focus on a specific niche role. The anti-tank class of Battlefield 1942 and its sequel, Battlefield 2, a great example, sported an anti-tank launcher and a pistol. You go out there knowing your job and you do it well, or you perish, pretty much. Should the medic class, say, be behind enemy lines creating a natural fallback point, or should they be the tip of the spear, controlling the pace of the front line, such as Battlefield 3 or 4's hyper-aggressive assault medic, a class that many people at the time felt was a bit too strong for what it was? Because see, what a support role even means depends on how the rest of the game is designed. An asymmetrical PvP shooter without regenerating health like Team Fortress 2 sees the medic filling an extremely important role as healer first and foremost. In a similarly asymmetrical shooter, the finals, small teams of 3 means the healer character has less opportunity to defend themselves, and not only can the healing-focused medium character have more offensive capability, but all character classes were recently granted similar, if not slightly weaker, healing abilities. How people can best help their team while not feeling helpless in combat otherwise, it's a really tough balance to walk. Because support gameplay, it's not about the kit, the specific items that you use. The amount of times that every one of Battlefield's classes has swapped abilities amongst themselves should tell you as much. What it's really about is pacing. Just a short couple months before Bad Company hit Xbox 360 and PS3, another large-scale vehicle-based combat game hit shelves. Frontline's Fuel of War. You get a gold star if you've even ever heard of this game, but Frontlines held a fascinating spot in the forgotten annals of FPS history. Not only a spiritual successor to Battlefield 1942, as its developers were the team behind the beloved Desert Combat mod for that game. They then went on later to develop Homefront under THQ before that whole thing went down with a whimper. Anyway, Frontlines is a really great example of the forward-thinking design nature of FPS games in the mid-2000s. Centering around the Frontlines system, wherein teams or AI would fight over specific attack or defend points at, well, a front line, the goal was to keep the battle centered around a specific location in the push and pull over a point of interest, in contrast to the sprawling and scattered skirmishes of Battlefield's conquest. While Frontlines was no forgotten masterpiece, it feels weirdly modern for its day, in every instance incentivizing a complex sandbox of mechanics all steering the player towards objective gameplay over the simulated front line, something I believe may have influenced ideas such as the rush, operations, and breakthrough modes of later Battlefield games. In Frontlines, you're a nobody, a conscript, and your job is to take ground or prevent the enemy from doing so, heroics or not. But to be honest, this was 2008. And heroics, it was kind of the thing at the time. So why is a moment like this one in a hard-fought breakthrough match anything special? I happen to be the one holding the point, tipping the scales right at the key moment. Had I peeked out, died 1 second earlier, the enemy would have held the stalemate and we might have lost. And while that clutch moment feels kind of badass, it's not like I made this heroic play on purpose. I was just in the right place at the right time. Now, of course, I do love being the one to make that final aggressive play. And believe me, I also get a kick out of filling a niche, a specific role biding my time to show up and do my job, and do it decisively. Walking that line between the hero fantasy and that of the nameless grunt, it's there that Battlefield has always had its special little niche. Something I don't think Battlefield gets enough credit for is giving all players, mechanically skilled or not, an effective way to help lead their team to victory. And sometimes what that means is simply being one more body on the front line than the enemy team could muster at the time. Because playing a support role, being that person who's always there when others need you the most, I think that it works the best when it's almost impossible not to. Let me give you a really weird analogy, because it's just kind of been on my mind. I was just watching the MLB American League Division Championship Series, and trust me, you do not need to know a thing about baseball to understand what I'm about to say here. But it was the Tigers versus the Mariners. Game 5, winner takes all for the division championship. Tarek Skubal was pitching for the Tigers. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. I mean, just dirty. This guy is a menace. He sets multiple records in this game with a staggering 13 strikeouts in 6 innings. The teams were almost perfectly matched. They traded back and forth, both right on the cusp of victory several times for 15 innings. And then, all of a sudden, because of one little mistake here and some luck there, it was all over. This guy wanted it just as bad as anyone. He played some of the best defense the sport has ever seen. And yet the offense simply didn't show up when they needed to the most. And when that happens, that's a well-designed game. Battlefield, in a weird way, like many team-based games like baseball, it lies in balance. Because every player needs to show up. Without the proper defense, offense is useless, and vice versa. Without the proper aggression from an assault player, you can't pull off that clutch revive. A medic can revive quickly, but sometimes you need that non-medic to slowly drag someone out of the line of fire. Without a good spotter, a sniper is useless. Without a good sniper, a point can be easily overrun. It's all a circle, a back and forth, a push and pull. Not just between friend or foe, but between allies at each other's shoulders. And especially when a game mode is designed around it, sometimes what you need most is someone to simply survive. One heroic action may feel badass, may give you that feeling of being that guy for a moment, but it's all just a moot point unless your team shows up behind you to make it worth it. Battlefield 6 has done an impressive job, in my opinion, of giving every class competitive offensive and defensive capabilities where they all feel useful and needed in a huge number of situations. Because everyone needs to be in sync. If I'm not alive when this guy steps on the point, we lose the stalemate. But maybe we don't even capture the point in the first place had not a medic had our back earlier. And maybe that medic doesn't make it to where they need to be had not a sniper cleared the path a minute before. And perhaps that sniper would have perished if someone hadn't been spotting enemies for them on the sidelines. Because when everything lines up, despite how hard it is to make that work, it should feel effortless. When everything falls into place, when you're there for them and they're there for you, when your team all at once becomes this overwhelming wave of aggression, reinforcement, and just like that, it's all over. Because support isn't one player, a class, or a mechanic. It's a mindset, a mode of play, a sword and a shield in unison. You're not the main character, you're part of a whole. The main character is your team. The main character is the battlefield. I'm Riloe, and I like to talk about things I think are interesting. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you very soon.